right, folks. I'm Cole Powell, musician by day, film nerd by night. Disney announces live-action Cinderella spinoff Stepsisters from Emmy-winning creative team. This sounds like an absolute disaster. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Disney has announced plans for another live-action Cinderella film, but this one comes with a fresh twist. Rather than centering on the iconic princess, the story will shift its focus to her infamous stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella, giving them a chance to take the spotlight. Okay. Guys, what are we doing here? Disney, I mean, come on. How many reboots, sequels, requels are you going to do that people hate, that hurt the brand, that flop before you stop? And okay, maybe I will grant the possibility. Maybe I'm just being negative. Maybe this is going to come out and it's going to be great. But right off the bat, this just sounds like an unmitigated disaster. We've been down this road how many times in the last decade, the last 2 decades here, and they just had an actual really good, one of the only really good Disney live-action reboots was the Cinderella reboot with Lily James that came out, I think, like in 2011-ish, maybe even, I think it was 2011. It could have been a little bit later than that. But that was actually really good. It was kind of, it kept the essence of the original, did a little bit of its own thing, well-directed, well-acted. But that's one of the few. And now they're going to say, okay, well, now we're going to do another one, but this time it's gonna be from the perspective of the stepsisters. Here's another issue with modern storytelling. There is a tendency in modern storytelling to do either one of two things. One, the hero's actually the bad guy. Two, the villain is actually the good guy. And an example of the former, the new Robin Hood movie that's coming out with Hugh Jackman. The trailer starts off with a deconstruction of the Robin Hood as a hero mythos. It starts off with Robin Hood saying, well, you've heard the stories that I was a hero, but actually I was really, really evil, bad, murdering thief. And it's like, okay, well, the original Robin Hood was an outlaw, but the idea was he was an outlaw in the name of justice because the law was no longer just. And that's a moral argument that can be made. I can get into some more philosophical elements of that, but we'll just leave it there. And now it's like, okay, well, no, we're going to deconstruct it. We're going to make it where he was actually a really, really bad guy and all that was legend. And then we're going to put him in a situation where he can actually become the real hero and redeem himself. I'm not really interested in that. I'd really just like to see a good old-fashioned hero Robin Hood adaptation. The other side of that, which is, the villain is actually just a misunderstood hero. The Sleeping Beauty story, they did a live-action version of that, but it was Maleficent. She was the actual hero of the story. She was just misunderstood, whatever. They've done that with Wicked, which I haven't seen, and I'm mainly not interested in it because of that, because it is actually the Wicked Witch was good, she just misunderstood. And this is what I imagine they're going for with the stepsisters. And I could be totally wrong, could be something else. But that's another problem in modern storytelling in today's society, that instead of just going back to the classics and saying, hey, Dracula was bad, vampires are bad, don't be a vampire, they have tried to rehabilitate and make the monster the hero. Even Frankenstein, even back into the 30s, the original Frankenstein, the book, which I love, the monster was not, Frankenstein's monster was not a hero. He was a villain. There was no question he was a villain. In the 30s, they start trying to make it a little bit grayer, and that's kind of become the accepted version of that character. And then they started doing that with other characters. They started doing it with Dracula. I remember the Frank Langella was one of my favorite versions of Dracula, but Bela Lugosi, of course, supposed to be kind of suave. Christopher Lee, incredibly suave and likable. Frank Langella in the 70s is like this ultimate seducer of women. And then the next step is you get into Twilight, and you've got an entire book series, successful film series dedicated to vampires being the good guy. And I don't think that that's a good thing. I don't think that we should take all of these villains who were villains in these stories for a reason. They were representing evil in these stories. And I don't think it's a good thing culturally to take these villains and turn them into heroes, because what you're doing is saying, well, actually, evil was just misunderstood, and really, evil is good. And again, maybe they're not going there with this Cinderella stepsister thing, but I could see that easily being the direction that they take with this, because we've already seen that so many times, and frankly, I'm tired of it. And after I wrap this video, I see this. Apparently, Netflix is beating Disney to the punch, although they're going animated and not live action, with a film called Steps. This is the description. Steps tells the story of Cinderella's quote-unquote evil stepsisters, Lilith, which is the name of a mythological demon, I'm sure just coincidentally, and Margot. When misunderstood Lilith is blamed for hijacking the royal ball with a stolen magic wand, she accidentally turns Sister Margot into a frog and leaves the kingdom in the hands of a prince-obsessed mean girl. Now Lilith must team up with Cinderella and a surprisingly dreamy troll to save the kingdom, repair the fractured fairy tale, and prove that even so-called villains deserve a shot at happily ever after. Yeah, no. If you enjoyed that clip, be sure to follow the Film Nerd by Night podcast wherever you're getting this episode. Also, consider supporting us on Patreon for full-length movie reactions and early access to episodes like this. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time.
Film Nerd by Night, created and hosted by Cole Powell. Theme, Beautiful Now, written and performed by Cole Powell, a Randomine Records production. Section 107 of U.S. copyright law allows for the fair use of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, parody, or research.